Hello and welcome to the third part of my series on creating a Notepad program. This will be the final part in which we're going to be clearing up the interface and also adding our final touches to it. So let's get started. Now let's create a undo button. Go to edit and then inside type here we're going to type in undo. Now drag it all the way to the top, then where it says type here, click on that little triangle. Now click on separator and drag it right underneath undo. Now double click on undo. Type in here text box 1 dot undo. Now double click on the word edit. What we want to do is when the edit is open, we want to check if the text box can indeed undo. To do that, text box 1 or if text box 1 dot undo can undo is equal to true, then what we want to do is we want to make sure that undo toolstrip menu item dot enabled is equal to true. Otherwise, undo toolstrip menu item dot enabled is equal to false. Now what we also want to do is we're going to add another if statement for whether or not you can paste. Next, what you want to do is type in if clipboard dot contains text is equal to true, then make sure that the paste menu strip item dot enabled is equal to true. Otherwise, make sure that it's false. And there we are. Now we're pretty much done with our Notepad program. So we want to add one more button. Let's go to Format, and over here, put in our word wrap. On this, we're going to double click it. We're going to put if word wrap and strip item dot checked is equal to true, then what this means is that you can actually check these boxes. So I can actually click on checked here, and that'll make it checked. Now what we want to do is enable word wrap. Now word wrap basically makes sure that everything is inside this and you don't have any scroll bars horizontally. So let's go ahead and continue with this. If word wrap tool menu item dot checked is equal to true, then it means that we need to now turn it off. So text box 1 dot word wrap is equal to false. And otherwise, also what we need to do is word wrap any item whatever dot checked is equal to false. Now we can just copy this, all this that we did right now, and put it in to the else statement, except make the false into a true. And there we go. Now we have word wrap. So let's go ahead and do a final test of this. Okay, so here's our Notepad program. Now if we go to Format, word wrap is enabled. Let me just put in some random text here. As you can see, it just continued on the second line. However, if I turn off word wrap, it'll just continue on this one entire line. Now, we need to make sure that the scroll bars work. So as you saw right now, there were no scroll bars. To set that, you just click on your text box here, go to Properties, and find scroll bars. We want only vertical right now. However, we need to change some settings here. First off, word wrap is enabled, so we only want to keep it vertical. But over here, what we want to do is when word wrap is equal to false. So right here, we need the vertical to be, it's going to be vertical and horizontal. So do text box 1 dot scroll bars is equal to both. Now over here, what we want is just vertical. So now that we have this done, let me show you something else that's a bit weird. If you right click on your text box, you can see you have all this weird stuff that comes up. Instead, what we can do is we can create our own little context menu strip right there. So let's go to our form, and what we want to do is go to Toolbox, and then we want to search up here context menu strip. So type in context menu strip and click enter, and it'll pop up on the bottom here along with your font dialog and all your other dialogs here. So if you have this selected, all the way at the top, you'll notice right under your menu bar is your context menu strip. The context menu strip works very much like your menu strip up there, however it's only going downward. So let's get started. Now what we want from our context menu strip is our copy. We also want a cut and, of course, paste. So now let's code these. For the copy, we can do simply enough textbox1 dot copy. For cut, it's also very simple, same way as before. And then finally, for paste, we do textbox1 dot paste. Now, one more step we need to do is double click on your context menu strip at the bottom here, and when it's opening, we want to make sure whether or not the paste is available. So we need to do if clipboard dot contains text is equal to true, then paste tool strip menu item 1 dot enabled is equal to true, else paste menu item tool strip menu item 1 is enabled is equal to false. And there you go. The last thing we need to do is to select our text box, go to properties, and then find context menu strip. Change it from none to context menu strip 1. That would be our menu strip that we created right now. Now let's go ahead and run the program. So now let's right click here. As you can see, we have our own menu strip right here, the copy, cut, and paste. Okay, so that's going to be the end of this Notepad video, but we're not done yet. In my future videos, we'll be going back to these older programs and making them better. For example, in my next video, I'm going to be talking about adding icons. As in not the icon that goes on top of your form, but icons to your actual form itself. So in that video, I'll be going back to our Notepad program and referencing to it. So make sure not to delete these ever, because we'll be going back to them to make it better than they were before. Okay, so we're done, and you know the drill. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. See you next time.